recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Z Games.
Z Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at ZEDGamesAU.
Hello. You're listening to Z Games. My name is Zara, and with me in the studio is...
Caroline.
Reed.
And Jack.
Wow. We have 4 whole people in the studio this episode. Reed and Jack are here to talk about a very exciting and, may I say, very on theme for 4ZZZ board game. We've also got the week in gaming news, and we've also got a review from Paul. So we kind of have a lot to get through. How are we all doing? Caroline, how are you doing?
University is in full swing.
Understandable.
And I am suffering, but I am playing a game for an assignment, so...
Oh, we love that. We love that. What's the game?
9 Souls.
Ooh.
It's a Dark Soul-like, so I am suffering.
Oh,
again.
suffering for the grade.
Yep.
Suffering for the grade.
Yep.
And Reed, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. A little stressed with all the Aqueducts things at the moment. Lots of things going on, preparing for conventions and things like that.
It's pretty hectic from the sounds of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how about you, Jack?
Yeah, I'm okay. I have a bit of a cold, but that didn't mean I get to play video games all day as I took the day off work, so...
That's
lucky.
That's like the best part about being sick.
Yes, it made me feel a lot better.
Oh, totally worth it. Let's get that news intro.
News. We're going to talk about news.
This week in gaming news, The Long Fight by SAG-AFTRA for AI protections. 8 months ago, SAG-AFTRA began the strike call-out against large games companies after long negotiations failed over the lack of protections for voice actors and the emergent use of AI. Basically, companies want to be able to use voice actors' voice print and movement without the consent, disclosure of use, or paying the original actors. Why is this extra important this week? While Riot tried to subvert the agreement by cancelling a game, Activision recast voice actors and Warcraft left characters unvoiced. It has been reported that 2 Zenless Zone Zero voice actors found out via patch notes. The actors who voiced Soldier 11 and Lysaon chose to withdraw work as part of the strike and have not heard from the company since October. Kinda grim.
Filthy.
Yes.
Disgusting.
It's the fact that Warcraft decided to just leave the characters completely unvoiced.
It's like, yeah, we're not going to pay you a livable wage. Just, no, leaving you out.
And speaking of AI, Windows Copilot was accidentally uninstalled from some Windows 11 in the recent update. Then Windows informed that it was in error. Then they announced that Copilot is coming to Xbox with the aim to assist players in various ways, like customer support and game hints.
Ugh, no. If I want a game hint, I'll just look it up.
Reed, Jack, do you have any thoughts on this?
It's a big yike.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be like Clippy, just kind of like, hey, you look like you're struggling. I'm gonna strangle. I'm gonna strangle Copilot.
Yeah, I just don't need those pop-ups when I'm gaming.
Yeah, like I'm in the zone. If I need help, I will ask for it. I don't need I get a little hurt when I'm struggling with a level, and the game's like, this seems like you're having a hard time. You know you can lower the difficulty.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
I take
just...
that personally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, same.
So I feel like I would just throw my computer out of the window.
Absolutely.
Now we got some game IP news. This one's just for me.
It is.
Devoted and nostalgic Sonic fans will be jumping for joy with Sonic Unleashed getting the equivalent of a 30-minute YouTube restoration video of an ice shaver from the 1920s back to its working and tasty glory, with a recompilation treatment. So, with a lot of hard work, time, caffeine, and recompiling, coding, and optimization, the PC port was born. Welcome to the world, Unleashed, recompiled, and the PC port of Sonic Unleashed is now playable and moddable. What does this mean exactly? I'll keep this as short as possible. Sonic fans have been so desperate for a port or a remaster of the critically received game Sonic Unleashed that they did it themselves. It's not emulated. It's a process called static decompilation where they can decompile the Xbox 360 version of the game into C code and then get that recompiled on the computer, which turns that into a native port, which makes it really easy to mod. And here's the really exciting part. This could be done with any Xbox 360 game. So it won't necessarily be easy or straightforward, and a lot of these tools that they use as part of this project has existed for some time, but Sonic fans have proved that it is possible, it is doable, and some games that you might have missed might be back on the menu again.
Ooh, tasty.
Caroline, do you want to read this next bit about Pokemon Lego?
Oh, yes. Now for Pokemon. Lego and Pokemon have announced a new collaboration coming next year, while nothing other than a Lego Pikachu tail and the catchphrase "Electrify your imagination in 2026" has been released. We can hopefully look forward to something that will look better than the Mega Block sets we've seen so far. In less comforting Pokemon collaborating news, Niantic has sold many of its interests over to Monopoly Go and Marvel Strike Force owner Scopely? Scopely. The list includes Pokemon Go, Pikmin Bloom, and Monster Hunter Now, with Niantic now focusing on its geospatial AI ventures that were captured while you scanned your local monuments in Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go chief Ed Wu tried to reassure players, saying, "I won't say that Pokemon Go will remain the same because it has always been a work in progress."
That's accurate.
Yeah. But with Scopely's history of monetization, users are concerned with the future of their walking companions.
I'm scared about what's going to happen to my Pikmin. I currently have a group of Pikmin crossing the Indian Ocean. And if something happens, like partway through this, I'm really scared about what's going to happen to them.
They're going to sink to the bottom of the ocean.
That's what I'm scared of, Caroline.
They're going to be stuck there forever.
Reed, Jack, do you have anything reassuring to say about my Pikmin or my Pokemon?
I think they're gone. I think
My thoughts and
completely
prayers are with them.
That's why you
Alright.
need Pokemon Home and you need to transfer your favorite Pokemons.
But what about my Pikmin?
There's no hope for them.
Oh, that's tragic.
That really is.
They won't be blooming anymore.
Reed, do you want to read out this next bit?
Sure. So speaking EA-ification, I mean monetization, EA has done the EA thing and added microtransactions to the EA Skate closed alpha.
Yay.
Really? But Hazelight's director, Joseph Fares, who developed the acclaimed It Takes Two and the recently released and UK sales topper Split Fiction, Jack, we should really play that, calls EA a supporter, stating, "They respect what we do," all while teasing his next game coming in the next 3 to 4 years.
I don't think we really need to dwell on that. Like, monetization sucks. And for them to introduce it in the closed alpha,
That's yucky.
Yeah, it's a bit of a red flag.
It's very EA.
it is a red flag. Like, I would be like, oh, you need to break up, if that was the case. Jack, we've got a little bit of some game bites here. Would you like to share what that's about?
Yeah, sure. After just 6 months from the release of Space Marine 2, 3 is already in the works, much to the chagrin of players of 2 who just want more content anyway. And Roblox CEO is now over it, telling parents that if you're not comfortable, don't let your kids on Roblox.
Honestly, yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I love how frank that is.
Just like parent your own kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not your dad.
Yeah, when there is an environment where a lot of children are left alone, largely unsupervised, there should be protections, but there's only a certain point where that is reasonable, and maybe iPad kids shouldn't be iPad kids. Controversial. I don't know.
Hot take.
Let's go into some upcoming games. So Friday, 21st of March, we've got Alternate History Wartime Strategy Builder, Caser Punk coming to PC, and Bleach Anime Fighter Bleach, Rebirth of Souls coming to PC, PlayStation, and Xbox Series X. Monday, 24th of March, will bring old school style cooperative builder Folklands coming to the PC. Caroline, do you want to read what's coming out on Tuesday, 25th of March?
Oh, yeah, there's Breakout's newest child, Breakout Beyond, coming to all of the consoles. Live the life of a hobbit in Waso Workshop's new game, Tales of the Shire, also coming to all of the things.
Reed, what's happening on Wednesday, 26th of March there?
We've got the dark Metroidvanian RPG Twilight Monk coming to Switch and PC. And all the rest are coming to PC. We have the cute co-op platformer Mother Machine. Also diving into childhood trauma Wednesdays. And kickstarted Ocean Cleaner Spilled.
And on Thursday, the 27th of March, what's happening there, Jack?
Well, being called the Indie Code Vein 2 or Limit, coming to PC and PS5. Explore British survival Fallout Atomfall on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Clean up and build up sports renovations on PC and next-gen consoles. An RPG Get Good fans game, The First Berserker Kazan on PC and next-gen consoles.
And that's it this week in gaming news.
Weekly Dose of Science on 4ZZZ is now available as a podcast.
I learned that you can hear the difference between different water temperatures when they're poured. I'm going to pour one after the other into a different glass, and you have to tell me which one is which temperature. I've got a hot and a cold. Right, here's the first one. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm saying cold.
It sounds cool. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Here's the second one. Well played.
Shut up.
Search No Idea 4ZZZ on your favourite podcasting app. That's spelled KNOW, like no idea. It's a visual pun on an audio platform. I don't know why we did it.
Reed and Jack, you two are here to talk about your 3D deck builder, Aqueducts, where players find themselves in the Roman Republic and must establish a city to guide the society into the new age. So without further ado, why don't I let you two introduce yourselves and the game?
Well, hey everyone, I'm Reed, co-designer of Aqueducts.
And I'm Jack, the other co-designer of Aqueducts.
So Aqueducts is basically a 1 to 4 player board game that is silly, that is about ducks as Romans in the Roman Egg-Public, and you are trying to build a 3D city like a house of cards.
Yeah, we've probably been working on this for like a year and a half now, and it's really getting to the point where it's all coming together.
I would say it's all coming together. You have like a physical board game with a box and everything right in front of us.
Bits.
Yes.
Can we just take a moment to describe the look of the game? First, I love the duck characters. I love how they're all like Roman inspired. But I also really like the 3D nature of this game. Do you two want to expand on that?
Yeah, well, essentially the way this game works, if you can enter your mind's eye, is you get two cards together. Like on your turn, you take two cards from your hand and you slot them together, and you place them kind of to build like a house of cards. So they kind of fit together, and you kind of slowly over the course of the game, you build up this kind of physical tower of house of cards that's got a bit of depth, a bit of width, and yeah, it's kind of a nice, really tactile, visual way of gaming.
Yeah. So, what does a round of the game look like? Sort of run us through what a game round would. How does it play?
Yeah. So in each era of Aqueducts, there's 4 eras in the game. There are a bunch of actions you'll do. The first one is build, and that's what Jack just spoke about. That's combining 2 cards from your hand to form a district and placing that into your city. And so those buildings you just placed in there, they're going to have resources, and that's going to allow you to build more and better buildings in the future. And so you do a few building rounds, and then you make a donation with the ducats you earned throughout the round. You make a donation to the Pontifex, and that's how you earn favor, which is the main victory condition of our game.
Favor is, I think, my ideal currency, because I'm always trying to generate favor.
So is it duck bribery?
It is essentially dark bribery. You are giving money to the Pontifex for their favor,
and not necessarily by the most scrupulous means. Yeah.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, we do have mechanics that kind of engage with the way you generate favor, because you can just donate coins and make some money, but you can also use your army to kind of strong arm other people, and
I guess that is a method,
and kind of you get the advantage on them, or or if you've got particularly luxurious goods, you can kind of maybe a bit more bribery going on. Be like, I'm not just giving you some money, but here's some money and some wine, champagne. I
mean, being given money is a pretty good way to instill a sense of favor in people, I would say. Like, if I'm giving people money, I expect to have favors.
Yeah.
I know the game is themed around ancient Rome, but I did see some art of ancient Egyptian docks. Mm-hmm. Are there any other ancient civilizations in the game, or plans to slip some in?
Absolutely. So our base game, which is for 1 to 4 players, is primarily focused on ancient Rome and the city-states that existed within ancient Rome at that time. And so we have Mutina, Cesena, we have Florencia, and Roma, of course. And we've also been developing a Hellenic expansion, which features ancient Greece and ancient Egypt during the Ptolemaic periods, and it combines panoramas of artwork centered in those locations. So there's over 100 unique cards in the game, and they all create this spanning picture of taking Rome from like their riverside village all the way to building the Colosseum. And then you have similar scenes in ancient Greece and ancient Egypt as well.
Yeah, this feels like a really modular game, and something that you could like easily, I say easily as someone who's not designing board games, easily expand on that with new civilizations, new buildings, new historical figures perhaps, which is pretty cool. And would you say that the game is educational at all?
I'd say it's got a bit of historical anachronism in there. I'd say that you can learn a lot. I did do some research when I was doing the art, and we've kind of done a lot of research behind kind of some of the theming and all that, but it does have a bit of a silly duck fled spin on things, so yeah.
When you're doing your research, was there anything that you came across that you were like, oh, I didn't know that? Interesting.
The Cloaca Maxima. Cloaca Maxima is a real ancient Roman construction, which was their main way of sanitizing the city at the time. It was this interconnecting sprawl of pipes and trenches that sanitize the city. And we feature a lot of things like that in Aqueducts. It's shown in the artwork. You can see those things, and you can see the name, and you can even Google it and be like, wow, what is that? It's a real historical thing, and it's in the game, and it provides thematic and mechanical influence into the game as well.
Oh, fabulous. So parents, you hear that? This is an educational game. Your kids will learn from playing this game. They'll feel motivated to learn more about ancient civilizations. Are there any mechanics that you're particularly proud of, or anything that you felt was kind of challenging to figure out?
I think the biggest challenge for us, because when we first started thinking about this game, we were really sold on the idea of making the House of Cards. That was the idea first and foremost, and everything kind of came from that. And one of the biggest challenges was figuring out how to actually make that fun, and not, because if you've ever built a House of Cards, it's quite difficult and it takes a lot of time. But we really want to make that the easy part and just have a nice 3D thing. And so we came up with just having these kind of making the cards have a cut in them, so you can slot them together and they'll just kind of rest upon each other. But it did take quite a while to kind of figure out what would be the best method of basically having the cards drawn together.
Yeah, and how thick should the card be, and what should the card stock be, and any finishes on it to increase or decrease friction, and how wide should the gap be. There's a lot of thought.
A lot of engineering.
Yeah,
it sounds
or
like.
just like the simple gameplay thing. But I think another mechanic, which is more gameplay mechanic that I think was really a really good one that we came up with, was the favor mechanic, because that was a pretty late addition to kind of our game design, and it kind of gave a good sense of purpose and kind of player interaction, which was the main thing we were looking for. Because before, we were at one point, we were just kind of building a house of cards, and kind of just felt like Solitaire, but for a house of cards. And by adding this favor mechanic, and you're all kind of competing for points, it really added a new dimension to the game.
Yeah, and it gives a lot of power to some of the unique resources in the game, like faith and military and the luxury goods you can build in your city. And so those are now especially integrated into the donations. So people with the most faith, the Pontifex favors piety, and so they will go and visit those cities first to receive their donations. So they get their first foot in the door. But if someone has a large military, they can go and kind of bump you back one spot on the donation track and go to the very front.
Awesome.
Interesting. I have a question, if
yeah.
I may. If ducks are the dominant life form, what are humans in the game as ducks?
Are they
Do they
primates?
So, I think if we're going into the deep lore of aqueducts, there are some humans do exist in statues, which is funny, and I think kind of hints to maybe there's some sort of vague humanoids. Maybe the
like
ducks
a
worship
sort of situation.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the ducks kind of worship the humans. They only exist in the statues when it didn't really make sense to have a duck statue. But no, it's mostly all just ducks. There are other forms of wildlife, cows and horses and donkeys and sheep, and I did debate very long time on whether or not to give them a duck head or not. And
I'm just imagining a horse with a duck head.
Yes.
Galloping after me while quacking.
Yes, I did imagine it. I did draw it and decided it was very cursed and settled for a normal looking horse, which I think was a wise choice.
Already, they're kind of a lot.
Yeah. I did also draw a I tried a horse with a duck head, and that didn't look good, and I tried a duck with a cat face, and that also just was yeah.
Oh, interesting.
But that art does exist in the game. I left that one in.
And my last question: how does the game now compare to what you initially imagined? Was there a lot of changes that had to be made, or is it pretty much like how you pictured?
I think it's exactly how he pictured it, but better.
Awesome. Yes, I love that.
That's the goal.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I wish I could hear more of that.
Yeah, I think we had trying to minimize scope creep along the way, and just refining our main core design tenets, and also just going ham on the duck art. It all just came together so nicely.
Yeah, once we locked in on the theme, I think it was just, it all just came from there. It was great.
Just for our listeners at home, how do we spell aqueducts?
AQUEDUCKS.
Awesome. And where can folks find your game and keep up with you?
So we've got Instagram, aqueducts_game, where people can see updates and share art and all that kind of stuff. We've got our website, www.aqueducts.com.au. And we also have our Kickstarter page, which if you just go to Kickstarter and Google Aqueducts, which was AQUEDUCKS, if you missed it, there's the pre-launch page there as we kind of ramp up.
Yeah, and it says there right at the top, launching soon. Launching soon. I love that. Alrighty, thank you so much, you two, for talking to us about aqueducts. We love ducks here at 4ZZZ. We are positively surrounded by rubber duckies at all sides, so I'm glad that you could contribute your duck story to this great station.
You're listening to Z Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Z Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi mate, you're listening to Z Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
My name is Zara. This is Z Games, and with me in the studio this episode is Caroline, Reed, and Jack. But we don't have time to focus on us. We only have time to talk about, well, nothing. It is all up to Paul now with a review.
Expelled is the latest game by developer Inkle, who have a reputation for creating exceptional interactive fiction games. This is a spiritual successor to one of their previous games, Overboard. In fact, it carries the subtitle, An Overboard Adventure, just in case there was any doubt what you were getting into. Overboard was one of my favourite games of 2021, and a game I recommend widely for a few reasons. Firstly, the premise is so simple the entire introduction is only a few seconds long. You're at sea with your husband, you push him overboard. Madcap music plays, and then you're spending the rest of your time trying to get away with your crime. Secondly, it's incredibly tight. Interactive fiction can be quite daunting for people to start, as you're basically signing up for reading a novel. Overboard, however, would take about 10 minutes for a playthrough. Thirdly, it's incredibly deep. I don't mean thought-provoking, I mean the possibility space is massive. A small area and selection of characters, but the permutations will take you hours of play to investigate. So that concludes my review for Overboard. Oh shit! I'm supposed to be reviewing Expelled! That's the one. The starting premise is similar, but meaningfully different. The initial introduction to this game is longer than Overboard, and as such, it didn't win me over as quickly. It took minutes to get its hooks into me. Set at a girls' boarding school in 1922, you play Verity Amersham, a poor girl there on scholarship, and an obvious scapegoat for the horrible crime of a broken stained glass window. Also, in the breaking of this window, another student was pushed out and is not quite dead yet, in the bushes below. The first run in this case is the intro of your game, because it's not until your second playthrough that it's revealed that you were in the tower where the window smashing and possible murder attempt happened. You are innocent though, right? You're certainly going to get the blame though if you can't pin the crime on someone else. From here on, the game runs in a clockwork manner, much in the same as its predecessor. All your actions take time. You move from place to place, and the map will tell you where other characters are if you're looking for them, the time it will take to get there, and off you go. You have a deceptively deep web of secrets, motives, and boarding school drama to delve into. Mechanically, the biggest change here is you have a morality meter of sorts. Certain options give you evil points, but if you're bad, you get new options. You start off a bit cheeky, but how low can you go? My assumption is that since it's well known players are generally nice in games, happily fetching people's apples, bayonets, and insulin at the drop of a hat, they consider this mechanic a gentle push to be bad. Being bad will get you some very good outcomes. Beyond this, the game is just very player friendly. It doesn't waste your time. If you want to replay a scene, you can. If you want to try something different on your next run, you can just fast forward through the day with your previous decisions until you get to the point you want to change. It's all very friendly and accessible. It really is a perfect game for fans of interactive fiction and new players who want to dip their toes in. But would I recommend it over Overboard? Interesting question, fictional asker. I would recommend Overboard first, simply because I feel it hits harder at the start, and sometimes being bad in that game means trying to murder literally everyone on the ship. Conversely, if you don't want to play a murderous seductress, then Expelled is just as solid. Excellent writing and pretty much all the themes you'd expect from a 1920s boarding school fantasy. The game is available on PC, Switch, and iOS. I played the game on PC, with code provided.
Thank you so much for that review, Paul. That was lovely.
Thank you, Paul.
My name is Zara. You're listening to Z Games, and with me in the studio this episode is Caroline. Reed,
Howdy again.
and Jack.
Bonjour.
And this episode, we talked video game news. We talked aqueducts, spelled Aqueducks. Put me in the spelling bee. I nailed that.
Very good.
Or the spelling duck.
But we are coming to the end of the hour.
No.
Unfortunately, this happens every week.
Double it.
Yes. We're starting a petition to double the amount of Z games each week. You can have a look over at website. I can't carry this bit anymore.
No.
But unfortunately, it is coming up to the end of the night. How did you all have fun this episode?
I had a great time.
That's great. Quacktastic.
Delightful.
It was quite nice. And like it's always nice to have something that's actually tactile and you can like hold on to it and like look at it. And I really like the finish on the box.
Are you going to do an ASMR little?
No, we tried doing the
Like
ASMR
that?
thing in the past, and that was received with great hate, which is fine. I'm not taking that personally. What have people been playing recently? Because I've been playing a little bit of Were Cleaner, which is an interesting little game. You play as a cleaner who is also a werewolf, and you got the night shift. Trouble, you know. How about you, Caroline?
I've been playing 9 Souls.
That's right,
and
for
yep,
your
my
uni.
assignments.
Yeah.
I have to do a review as an assignment, and I feel like I'm going to go very well with that.
I also feel like you're going to go insane on the way, but that's okay.
Yes. I need to actually get a draft done by tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, have fun with that.
No.
How about you, Reed? Have you been playing anything recently?
Yeah, I've been playing Hades 2 with the new Wolfsong
Ooh,
update.
yes.
The Olympus.
Very
They
nice.
released the final boss. Maybe I'm not going to spoil it actually at all.
Don't.
But
I haven't
that's
gotten
been
around.
fantastic.
Fabulous. And how about you, Jack? Anything you've been playing recently?
Yeah, I played Avowed, which was been quite fun. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a open world RPG type, like Skyrim-esque, and I googled it after playing it, and like I had fun with it, and the reviews aren't as good as my time with it. So yeah,
That's nice.
It was
Like,
good fun.
I plan on playing it when I finish this semester because it's like, it is an RPG, but it's also like a manageable amount of RPG, which I really like. I don't have infinite time anymore. Speaking of
Too
not
true.
having infinite time, we're out of time. So it is time for us to say goodbye. Good
Bye.
night.
Good night.
Love you all.
Love you.
Play games.
Play 'em.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Z Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.